People often come to me when it's too late, when the veil between our world and the next has already torn. But sometimes, just sometimes, a soul arrives in time. Trembling, desperate, still able to choose life. Her name was Miroslava. I felt her fear before she stepped into my house. The wind shifted with her presence, and the air around her trembled, as if something invisible clung to her shoulder, whispering. "Sit down, child," I told her. "Tell me what's following you." She sat, her hands cold and tight around a crumpled photo. "It's my husband," she said. "I see him everywhere. Even when I know he's far away." That was the first thing she said. That she kept seeing him. Everywhere. I asked. "At the market. At the metro station. Walking past our building," she whispered. "And then, last night, he was in our bedroom. Just standing there. Watching me. But then he disappeared." "And your husband, Serhi, was out of town?" I asked. She nodded. "A business trip. But I saw him. I swear I saw him." "Give me his picture," I said. My fingers grazed the glossy surface, a happy couple in sunlight. But what I felt beneath my fingertips was emptiness. His image held no warmth. As if it were already fading from this world. "There's no mistress," I told her gently, "but there is something much worse." She leaned forward. "What?" "Your husband. He is no longer whole. His soul is being drained. He stands with one foot in this world, and one foot in the next. Something is pulling him into the darkness." She shook her head. "But he's healthy. He's fine." "Is he?" I asked. "Or has he been quiet lately? Detached? Looking through you, instead of at you?" Miroslava froze. I continued. "You brought something into your home. A gateway. A doorway through which something came. A shadow. And it's feeding off your husband's life." She swallowed hard. How do I find it?" "You'll know it when you see it," I said. "It won't feel like it belongs. And then, bring it to me," I said, "before it takes what little life he has left." That night, Miroslava returned home and began to search. Closets. Drawers. Boxes of souvenirs from her many travels. But nothing stood out, until she stumbled across something odd. A pair of black figurines. Identical. Slightly chipped. Cold to the touch. She didn't remember buying them. But she did remember seeing them on Serhi's desk. Her pulse quickened. She began opening drawers and cabinets, and discovered something stranger. Toothbrushes in pairs, razors in twos, two identical watches. Pairs of cufflinks, even when Serhi didn't wear shirts that required them. As if someone, or something, was preparing for two of everything. That evening, when Serhi returned home, she was already waiting at the door. "You've been shopping?" she asked, eyeing the bags in his hand. He smiled sheepishly. "Just thought I'd update the wardrobe." "And you got me something?" "I couldn't resist," he said, handing her a matching set of gloves and a scarf. They were on sale. 2 for 1. Her stomach turned. Later that night, she asked him about the figurines. "Oh, those," he said. I don't know. Just liked them. They're mine." His voice changed when he said it. Like someone else was speaking through him. And when she tried to pick one up, his hand shot out to stop her. "Leave them," he said sharply. "Don't touch what you don't understand." That was when she knew. This wasn't just Serhi's odd habit. This was something ancient. Something wrong. She called his mother the next day. "I know this sounds strange," Miroslava began, "but has Serhi ever had a habit of needing two of everything?" There was a long pause on the other end of the phone. "When he was a child," the mother said slowly, "he would scream if we gave him just one of anything. 2 candies, 2 shirts, 2 of everything. It faded as he grew older. I thought it was just a phase." "It's not," Miroslava whispered. She thanked the woman and hung up. That evening, Miroslava saw her husband again. Not the one sitting on the couch. The other one. The one standing silently in the hallway, watching her. She called his name. He turned. "I have no home," he said quietly. "Not anymore." And then he vanished. She ran into the living room. Serhi was still there, barely conscious, sweating. She reached for the black figurines. "Where are they?" she demanded. He growled. Not shouted. Growled. "They're mine," he said. "Mine." Miroslava had never seen such fury in his eyes. Not even grief. Just a cold, furious hunger. She managed to grab the statues and ran. Serhi collapsed behind her. And that night, the hospital called. He had slipped into a coma. She clutched the figurines to her chest and wept. But I had already seen what she would do next. The story, of course, was far from over. When Miroslava returned to my home, she wasn't just afraid. She was cracked, like porcelain stretched too far. Her hands trembled as she placed the twin figurines before me. They were heavier than they looked. Cold. Silent. "These," she said, "were his." I picked one up. My fingers stiffened. "Not his," I corrected. "One is him. The other is someone else." Her breath caught. "He's a twin," I said. "But you didn't know that, did you?" She blinked at me. What are you talking about?" "The second figurine, this one, is the echo of a soul that never had a body. A brother. One that never drew breath. At least not in this world." Miroslava stared in horror. "But Serhi never told me he had a twin." "He doesn't know," I said. He couldn't. Some truths are stitched too deep into family silence. I held the statue up to the light. It cast a double shadow. "Ask his mother," I told her. "She knows. And she's hidden this for far too long." The next day, Miroslava visited her mother-in-law. It took time, tea, silence, then tears. But finally, the truth emerged. There was another child, the woman admitted, her voice cracking. Twins. But one of them didn't survive. I didn't tell anyone. Not even Serhi. What was the point? Why burden a boy with a brother he never knew? Miroslava was frozen in her chair. The mother wiped her face with a tissue. "Serhi used to insist on two of everything," she whispered. "I should have known something wasn't right. But it stopped. I thought it passed." "It didn't," Miroslava said. She left the house without another word. At home, the air was thicker, heavier. The kind of weight that drapes itself across your chest like a corpse. She couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw him, Serhi, but not. A face that shifted just slightly off, as if his twin wore his skin like a costume. The next morning, her phone buzzed. The hospital. Serhi was still in a coma. Unresponsive. Vital signs stable. But his mind, his soul, somewhere else. I knew it was time to speak the final truth. She came to me again, and I poured her a cup of bitter root tea. She sipped, barely tasting. "He's between two worlds now," I said. "His soul is being pulled." "By who?" she asked, eyes wide. "By the one who was never born," I answered. "The twin without a name." She shivered. "But why now? Why is this happening?" "Because you opened the door," I said gently. "You brought the wrong thing home." I reached beneath the table and placed a piece of cracked marble before her. "You know what this is?" She nodded slowly. "It's from Turkey. From a site we visited, ancient ruins. A place they called the City of the Dead." I nodded. "That marble came from a place where the dead walk in shadow. That stone is a key, and when you brought it into your house, it unlocked a door." "But I didn't mean to," she said weakly. "It doesn't matter." The door opened. I traced a circle around the twin figurines. The spirit of the brother entered through that stone. But once inside, it found more than it hoped for. It found a body. A life it never had. Miroslava clutched her arms. So it wants to take over Serhij's body? It already is, I said. Piece by piece. She covered her mouth. You saw the signs, I continued. Two of everything. Moments when he wasn't himself. Coldness. Anger. Possessiveness. That wasn't Serhij. That was his shadow. But he's still alive, she whispered. For now, I nodded. But time is running short. She wiped her eyes. Tell me what to do. You must return the stone, I said. Put it back where it came from. To the land of the dead. I can't, she said. I can't leave. Not now. You don't have to, I told her. Find someone who is going. Someone you trust. She blinked. A client. At the travel agency. He mentioned he was flying to Turkey this weekend. Good, I said. Give him the stone. And tell him where it belongs. She took a deep breath. Her hands were steadier now. One more thing, I said, placing a tiny glass vial in her palm. This is oil blessed with firethorn and white asphodel. When the stone is returned, anoint Serhij's chest with this. 3 drops. No more. She nodded. And remember, I added, my voice quiet, when a soul is split in two, healing it takes more than love. It takes choice. Whose choice? She asked. Serhij's, I said. But he must be whole to choose. Later that week, she found the right client, a kind man with eyes that still believed in luck and curses. He agreed to return the stone. And as he stepped onto the plane, Miroslava whispered, Please, bring him back to me. That night, the storm came. The house shook. The air cracked. And in the darkness, she heard it. 2 voices. Arguing. Crying. The same voice, twice. Then silence. In the morning, the phone rang. Serhij was awake. But the story isn't over yet. When Miroslava called me the morning Serhij woke up, her voice was a whisper of disbelief. He's back, she said. He's awake. He remembers almost nothing. I didn't answer right away. That kind of silence, the kind Serhij had just returned from, has weight. It leaves marks. What does he remember? I finally asked. Flashes. Mostly dreams. He said he saw himself. Another version. Watching. Always watching. That was no dream. I told her to wait 3 days before performing the oil ritual. The soul needs time to settle, I said. It's like water after a storm. But what if he's still not whole? She asked. Then the storm isn't over. 3 days passed. On the morning of the 3rd, Miroslava came to me, trembling. He's different, she said. Still Serhij. But something's off. How? He doesn't remember things we did together. Small things. Like our favorite coffee shop. Or what movie we saw on our first anniversary. But he remembers numbers. Names. My old address from years ago. Things I barely told him. I closed my eyes. That's not uncommon when the soul has been split. 2 pieces competing for control. One fights for love. The other for life. Have you used the oil? I asked. She shook her head. Then tonight. Just after midnight. 3 drops over his heart. I handed her the vial, and she clutched it like a lifeline. But what if the wrong one wakes up? She whispered. I looked her in the eyes. Then you fight for the right one. That night, as the world slept, Miroslava stood by Serhij's bedside. He was already asleep. Peaceful, almost too still. She uncapped the vial and let the first drop fall. It spread over his chest, glowing faintly. Then the second drop. The air around her grew cold. The 3rd drop landed, and the light flickered. Serhij gasped, arching off the bed, eyes wide and black. And then, he spoke. But it wasn't Serhiy. You should have let me stay. Miroslava stumbled backward. You were never meant to live in this world, she said. You don't belong here. A dark smile crept onto his face. I was with him from the beginning. I shared everything. His thoughts. His dreams. Even you. Tears streamed down Miroslava's cheeks. Then why did you try to take his life? I didn't, he whispered. I tried to take my own. That silenced her. I only ever wanted to exist, he said. But you brought me here. And I wanted more. He reached a trembling hand toward her. Don't send me back. I just wanted to be seen. His voice cracked. Not evil. Just empty. I see you now, she said quietly. But this life was never yours. You were loved. Even if only for moments. A flash of sorrow crossed his face. I forgive you, she said. But I won't let you take him. And just like that, the figure in front of her faded. The room stilled. The cold lifted. Serhiy collapsed onto the bed, unconscious. And then, slowly, he breathed. The next morning, he woke with tears in his eyes. I had a brother, he said softly. Miroslava nodded. I saw him, he continued. Not in a dream. He was real. I could feel him inside me. He was never your enemy, I told them later. Only your shadow. He was lost. And when Miroslava brought that piece of death home, it gave him a doorway. But I didn't know, she said. I just thought it was a rock. Never underestimate what follows you from sacred places, I warned her. The dead cling to objects. Especially the forgotten. They sat in silence. Serhiy looked pale, but whole. Can we rest now? Miroslava asked. Yes, I said. For now. But there's something else you must do. They looked at me wide-eyed. He deserves a name, I said. Serhiy swallowed. My brother. He lived, even if only in the shadows, I said. And now he's gone. But don't let him be erased again. Serhiy nodded. I'll call him Danilo, he whispered. Then light a candle for him tonight, I told them. And every year, on the day you almost lost yourself. Miroslava took Serhiy's hand. They had survived. But the scar of a soul once split never truly fades. And that's why I always say, never bring home pieces of the dead. Not even when they sparkle in the sunlight. You never know who's waiting on the other side. When Miroslava returned weeks later, she was different. Not broken, but wiser. Like someone who had stared into a storm and made it out alive. Serhiy stood beside her, his eyes clearer now, his steps stronger. But there was a hesitation in his smile, like he wasn't quite sure he had fully come back. He hadn't. Not completely. Some doors, once opened, never truly close. You said he's been different, I asked, gesturing for them to sit. Yes, Miroslava said carefully. He's peaceful. But sometimes, I catch him staring into nothing. Like he's listening to someone I can't hear. Serhiy looked away. Sometimes I feel like I'm not alone. I nodded slowly. You're not, I said. And you may never be. But that doesn't mean you're in danger. Miroslava tightened her grip on his hand. There's something else, she added. We're expecting. A long silence followed. Even the birds outside my window seemed to hush. You're with child, I whispered. When did you find out? 3 days ago. I smiled faintly. The soul that almost lost its way has made room for another. Life always finds a way to balance death. They sat in silence, processing what this meant. You must bless the child, Serhiy said suddenly. Please. I stood, walked to the old cabinet, and retrieved the oil, different from the last one. This one was warm, scented with rosemary and rue. I dipped my fingers, pressed them gently to Miroslava's forehead. Let what is meant to live, Live, I whispered. Let what is meant to rest, rest. The flame of the nearby candle flickered, then stilled. It was done. Weeks passed. The pregnancy bloomed quietly. No complications. No more dreams of shadows or ghostly twins. But one afternoon, Miroslava called in tears. He's gone. What happened? I don't know. He just left. No note. No call. He said he was going to the store. And never came back. I knew what this was. Serhi hadn't left. He was slipping again. That night, I sat with my herbs, my fire, and the stone she had brought back, the one from the city of the dead. Though her client had returned it, its echo lingered. Energy clings. It waits. And sometimes, it retaliates. Just before dawn, I lit the flame again and called her. Go to the place you first saw him, when he wasn't supposed to be there. Where the vision began. She didn't hesitate. Miroslava found him standing at the metro station where she had first seen the phantom Serhi. He looked confused, empty. I didn't know where else to go, he said. I just felt called here. You're not him, she said softly. He blinked. What? You're not the shadow, she whispered. You're my husband. You're Serhi. Come home. But he hesitated. I feel like someone else is watching through my eyes. That someone is gone, she told him, stepping forward. He left when you woke. But his grief, his loneliness, it left a mark. He closed his eyes. It hurts. Like I'm missing someone I've never met. You are, she said. But that doesn't mean you owe your life to his ghost. She took his hand. You owe it to the child growing inside me. To us. Tears fell freely. And slowly, he nodded. That night, Miroslava and Serhi returned home. Together. They slept, for the first time in weeks, without fear. No footsteps in the night. No twin reflections in mirrors. Just quiet. But I had one more task. I returned to the old cemetery where the original stone had come from. I carried with me a second stone, its twin. Not to open doors, but to close them. I buried it beneath a tree, lit a candle, and whispered. To the boy who was never named, to the brother who only watched, to the soul that searched for a place to belong. You are remembered. You are free. The wind shifted. And I knew he was finally gone. Months later, Miroslava gave birth to a healthy baby boy. They named him Danilo, after no one in particular, she claimed. But we both knew. She brought the baby to me when he turned 1. Do you want to hold him? She asked. I touched the child's hand. He giggled. He's warm, I said. All soul. No shadow. And thank the stars for that. But still, I sent them away with a charm. Just in case. Because sometimes love crosses worlds. And sometimes, it stays. Forever.